Hi everybody, this is my video presentation on visualization. First thing I want to talk about is typography. You'll notice for my first two slides I chose Times New Roman for my font. It's a professional font and it's very easy to read. You'll notice that right here I chose a font which I thought looked cool, but when I start typing in this it's very hard to read, and it's also, a lot of circles would consider it unprofessional. Definitely want to stay away from things like Comic Sans or this cursive font that I found right here. Alright, yeah, it looks pretty, but a lot of kids grow up hardly even learning cursive, let alone being able to read it. And I want them to process information, not get caught up on reading a cursive font that I thought looked cool and pretty. Word art is just the worst thing ever. When you're trying to have kids process information, they end up processing the word art. And just, and also like put my wording in a straight line, horizontal. I don't want to be tilting my head from side to side to read things. You'll notice I have a poor color here, blue on blue, and also this light pink. You think of blue and pink being very different colors, but because they're both a much lighter shade, this word presentation becomes very hard to read. Last thing I want to talk about with that is spacing. Having an appropriate amount of white space is just huge, absolutely huge in making things more readable and easier on the eyes. You'll notice this paragraph up here, when it's closely spaced, a lot of things that kids struggle with is going from one line to the next with their reading. And when you have it spaced out like this, it's much easier to make that jump as we go from the end of the line on the right side, and then we have to go all the way over here to the left. So yeah. I want to show you now two examples of two PowerPoint slides that actually different teachers in my school taught just this very last year for the same concept. So the concept is vertical translations and how they relate to graphs. And so here I'm going to talk about kind of like the screen design that's going on with each of these and also the media that's involved. So on this is the counter example. This is the bad one. The color scheme, I am not a fan. I think that it should not be anything like, when I'm picking a color scheme, I ask myself, if I were to wear this on a shirt, would it make me stand out? And the answer to this is definitely yes. That's why you'll notice I chose a nice white and blue from my earlier ones. Also the heading, vertical translations, is sideways. I feel like that's the key concept of what's going on here. It should be front and center, and also, don't make me turn my head sideways to read that. I hate this negative text right here, if you will. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but they've made a background, and then the font color is kind of like the same as the main page background. And also there's just too many words here in order to teach the concept itself. They've typed too much, and I would not want a student to take the time to write all of this word for word in their notes. Also, this word translation here is supposed to stand out, and yet the red on purple kind of makes it blend in and harder to read. Here is our good example. This would be the slide that I used in my classroom last year. So we have our title, vertical translation, front and center, very easy to read. And you just have like the meat and potatoes of it, like the basics that you need to know. It occurs outside the function. Here's a basic function notation of what that would look like, and then front and center is your media, your visual. The visual is the most important piece to this because it's a very visual concept. And that was the one thing I did like about this counterexample, is that the most important part was front and center, but you had so many other stuff that just starts to take away from it too. That's my assignment on visualization.